Hi everybody. So this video is to walk you guys through your first essay assignment. You guys have read a different number of texts for short stories in this first unit across different movements, different genres, different authors, about different subject matter. So you are going to choose one of the short stories that you read in this unit and develop a written analysis of that work. So you're going to look at a lot of the things that we talked about, like setting, POV, narration, conflict. Contextualize that analysis by using these specific terminology to help create a more in-depth understanding of the text. And then you're going to create a thesis argument around the central focus. So I want you to choose really one central focus or to help frame your argument. So while you guys could talk about basically everything in a lot of these texts, that is not really the best approach. What I want you guys to do is choose one of the specific topics that we've looked at as literary elements and apply that to one of the texts. That doesn't mean that you can't bring in other ones, and you probably should, but I want you to choose one major literary element to kind of drive your argument. So for example, if you did Hills Like White Elephants, you could look at the importance of dialogue in the text. You could also look at things like imagery and symbolism. Those are equally important, but I would say, choose one overarching thing to drive your argumentation. So, for example, you could do the theme as the main thesis statement. So, for example, you could say in everyday use, the theme of function over form is important, or function. The value of a functionality is more important than the aesthetics. If you did say the lottery, you could say the symbolism found in the lottery helps drive the meaning of the story. If you did the yellow wallpaper, it could be the characterization of the narrator. Or you could say the narration is the most important aspect of the story because of X, Y, Z. So you're going to develop a written analysis around one of these texts. Make sure that your primary element is clear, so that setting or conflict or characterization. And think about what your argument is. Don't just tell me that, say, setting is important in the Cask of Amontillado. That is a true statement, but it's not an argument. So you may want to say something like, the setting of the Cask of Amontillado helps support the dark romanticism of the text. Or if you did say the yellow wallpaper, you could say the conflict of man versus self is helps. You could say the conflict of man versus self helps support the argument for women's rights, or something like that. These are terrible examples, but you get the idea. So make an argument in your thesis claim, and then think about the other elements and how they're used to support that goal or message or meaning. So for example, in Hills Like White Elephants, what is Hemingway, if you said the theme was the isolation of the expat community in post-war America, you would need to think about what elements help support that. You could talk about the symbolism of the hills. You could talk about the crossroads of the train station. You could talk about the dialogue and the intersection of English and Spanish and how those are conflicting within the text, things like that. Think about how the author's own experiences kind of help inform the text. So for example, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, her own experiences with postpartum depression and the treatment helped inform the yellow wallpaper. Think about why that's important. Same thing with The Story of an Hour and Kate Chopin, her own experiences. Everyday use. Think about the biography of the authors, their positionality. Are they women? Are they men? Are they marginalized? Are they minority figures? How are their experiences playing into the text and the messaging? And then you can also make critiques about the text. So you absolutely should, when you think through these analyses, think about what elements you might critique within the text. You might say something like, Hills Like White Elephants, the dialogue is ultimately ineffective because it doesn't do X, Y, Z. Or in the lottery, you might say the colloquialism actually detracts from the story. These are, again, bad examples, but you're always welcome to critique the text as well, as long as you back it up. So you do need to have one research source, at least, in the work. Make sure that you cite it correctly and include it on a bibliography. Make sure that it's a credible source. So things like gradesaver.com, 123helpme.com, these are not credible sources. Wikipedia, not credible. I would highly recommend looking at things like history.com or biography.com or PBS or anything that's from an EDU site. These are the kinds of sources that will help you support your claim. The way you incorporate those is by pulling out direct quotes from those sources and incorporating them into your analysis as evidence to support your main ideas. You need to do the same thing with evidence from the text. So you want to use specific words or passages or phrases to support your claims and expand on those with your own analysis. So don't, for example, just tell me that dialogue is important in Hills Like White Elephants. Show me as the reader why dialogue is important. So pull out specific quotes that show the dialogue between June and the narrator, and June and the other character, where they're talking about abortion without actually talking about abortion, if you're saying that's important. If you're telling me that the symbolism of the quilt and everyday use is important, show me by pulling out specific quotes that talk about the quilt and the function and the importance of using it every single day. And same thing, again, like I said, with your research sources. So the way you incorporate your research sources is to help support. So for example, if I said Carnival is an important part of the setting in the Cask of Amontillado because it's a time when, according to blah, 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 blah source, there is a freedom and an inverted social structure that people can play with. Something like that would be a great way to incorporate your source material. So your essay is going to be 3 to 4 pages in length. It's due on Sunday, June 21st at 11:59 p.m. Page length needs to be to the bottom, and proper MLA formatting is required. Remember that everything is checked for plagiarism. So your final essay will actually have, on the rubric, you'll see 20% of it will be from your completed outline, which you'll complete this week, and then the other 80% will actually be the final draft. So this is designed to help you guys. So as long as you do the outline and you do it well, you should get basically a free 20 points on your essay. So you're going to be assessed on making sure you have a good, close analysis of the literary work and its concepts. Make sure that you have good evidence to support your claims from the primary and the secondary sources. Make sure you proper number of sources, so 1 at least. Proper page length, MLA, and citations. Fully developed essay structure, including an introduction with a thesis statement, main ideas with evidence to support, and a conclusion, and good, clear organization. So make sure you kind of think through how you organize your ideas. There's a lot of things, again, like I said, that you guys can look at. We've talked about a lot of these, but think about things like characterizations. You could archetypes. You could look at, are they developed, flat, round, static? Look at literary devices, so similes, personification, foreshadowing, irony, whatever it might be. You can look at structure, so how does it follow the dramatic arc? What's the conflict? What's the POV or the narration? Look at themes, symbol, motifs, allusions, styles, other literary concepts. And then you can also, again, look at the historical context. So look at the author's bio. Look at the major social or ethical or moral issues happening at the time, or what was the climate like at the time, the political climate. These things can help with the analysis and help inform the analysis as well. So if you guys have questions, let me know. You are going to go ahead and do an outline as well. So this should help you kind of get all the pieces in place, and then it should help you pretty easily fit things together for your essay. So again, let me know if you have questions, but otherwise go ahead and move on.